Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rahman Haziq bin Pekar Mohammed and my matrix number is 200213. And I will elaborate more on the details that I found out from my interview uh, on one of the safety officer. Okay, the contents of my presentation is as follows, which is the first is the background information, of the safety officer, and then the second the roles that the safety officer are given responsibility in his company, and then the the reason why the safety officer choose this field over other career, and then his experiences throughout his whole career, what's the best unforgettable moments throughout his whole career, and then the violation, if any violation that he faced before, and then the last thing is the challenges that he or any other HSC officer would face. Okay, first move on to our first topic here is background. From the education, my safety officer that I interview, his education, his background is as follows, which is he graduated from UKM in 2011 under Bachelor of Environmental Health, and then his first job was as at Petronas Charigali Samarang, and then his experiences in the HSC field is as this year's it conclude to a 10 years in HSC. And then his current work is a senior executive HSC at Valesto Energy Berhad. Okay. Formerly, Valesto Energy Berhad was known as UNW Oil and Gas Project. Now it is known as Valesto Energy Berhad. Velocity Energy Berhad is an oil and gas company where it is specialized in offshore drilling and then oil and gas fields. Okay, next let's move on to roles. The roles that the safety officer had to take care of is first to ensure that all safety legislative requirements are fulfilled. This means that the safety procedures or practices that are followed in the company are according to the legislative requirements in order to prevent if any accident occurs or happens, to prevent any fine or any other things that would cause him to lose his job or anything. And then the next thing is to promote health and safety awareness. As he said, promoting health and safety awareness to the workers is hard because most of the workers think that the health and safety is not something that should be emphasized. They think that health and safety is something that could be neglected, where it does not contribute anything to his whole work or task. So that he need to ensure that he promote health and safety awareness to the workers, either employees or employers, to ensure that they know the importance of health and safety, and then to implement health and safety programs. He said that throughout his 10-year career, he had implemented a lot of health and safety programs, but the most common health and safety program that he usually conducted is that the fire safety, fire safety exit program, and then first aid program, and then the proper use of machinery, equipments, and tools to and others. And then he first said that he stated that whenever a fire occurs or fire breakdowns in a company or in a factory, the last person to leave the factory or the company is the HSE officer, which means that they need to ensure that all the people's workers or employees are safely guarded up. So in order to help that or ease the flow of that, you need to educate workers, employees, and employers the fire safety exit or what to do when a fire occurs or fire breaks down. So whenever the people or workers know what to do, what to expect, or what is the first thing they need to do, and others, they would follow the things and ease the flow. And then for first aid is to, if anything accidents occurs, if a minor accidents occur, to prevent any major consequences, the first aid is taught to them. A fire first aid program is taught to them in order to ensure that all the workers and employers know what to do, or what is the first thing they need to do if there any small incidents occurs, so that they could help the people before the help comes. And then the next thing is to enforce use of PPE. As he said, enforcing the use of PPE is same as promoting health and safety awareness, which is hard because personal protective equipment is something that people don't want to use because they think that personal protective equipment is just like a pain, is like just like troubling them to do their work, troubling them to handle the machineries or any other of that. When they think of that, they neglect or ignore the importance of the use of the PPE. When they neglect or ignore the usage of PPE, then this is the time where the accident or incidents would occur, which they want to ignore or avoid it. So, and then the next thing is to investigate and report any health and safety accidents. Um, Whenever a safety and health accidents occurs, he is the one that need to investigate and report the accidents to the higher authorities. And then the final thing is that to conduct health and safety inspection and audit. He said that the health and safety inspection that he usually does is that monthly, where every month he would check about the procedure or practices that the workers are carrying out or practicing throughout their handling of the machineries. But and then a week or 2 week, once in a 2 week, he would check the usage of machineries, which is uh, the workers that are handling the machineries or any other harmful or dangerous machineries are following the proper practices. This is to ensure that no accident will occur in his. And then for the thing that why he chose this field. Okay, first of all, he said that this is not a first choice why he chose this field because but when he go through of career of or education that he should pursue after matriculation, he found out that HSC is quite interesting, where it is not only saving, it's not only about saving life, it's about educating people about safety. Because you save life is something that heroic action, but when you can educate people about safety, it's something like prevention is better than cure. When you can prevent something that before it occurs, it could help or benefit many other people's and to avoid any other incident or accident that would occur. And then the motivation that the officer hold is that kerja dengan penuh semangat, hidup memberi manfaat. Why is it like that? When he work with full encouragement or full spirit while giving people benefit, it would then return to him, whether it is in the form of heart or in the form of blessings or any other of that, so that he always do his job with a full encouragement, even though people do not support him to from his during his young years. But he believed that when he work in a higher spirit to give benefit to people, it will then result in a good things, which is the safety of the pupils or the workers are guarded. And then for the experiences, He said that his first experiences or his first job was as Petronas Carigali Samarang, and he was the project engineer, or in other term, HSE project HSE engineer. So that his job was to, because he said that this is the most unforgettable experience that he have, is because this is the first job. He said that just like our first love, our first career or first job after graduating is something that could not be forgotten because of something that happens during that time. Okay, his experiences during that time, he said that first of all is setting up HSC project plan. HSC project plan is that he said that it's a living document that is set up before the project starts, with the scope of how the project works. But then, as the project evolves, the scope would change, or the project plan would change according to the scope of the works. And then he would need to revise the project plan and change it to according to the how the machinery function, how the equipments function, in order to give a good HSC project plan. And then the next thing is HSE documentation. He need to prepare hundreds of documentation throughout his whole project in Petronas Sarigali Semarang, which is include of the starting of the project, the accidents that occur throughout the project, the incidents, the safety and health program that he conducted, and any other programs. And then the HSC program. He said that during this time, he was the project HSC engineer with the need of to manage 10 HSC officers under him. When he need to manage 10 HSC officers under him, he's the one that need to make the call for what program that he should do that time. And then he choose two things, which is fire safety programs and the proper use of machinery, equipments, and tools. Why he choose that? Because of he's working in the oil and gas field, where the probability or percentage of a fire breaks down is high, because they are in an oil and gas company. So in order to help or cope whenever that things happens, that he conducted a fire safety program and the procedures that the workers need to follow whenever there is fire occurs or fire breakdowns. And then the next SSC program that he conducted was the proper use of machineries, equipment, and tools. The proper use of machinery, equipment, and tools, because they are working under unstable condition, which is unstable temperature, unstable weather, because as we know, oil and gas things are mostly onshore and offshore, where their temperature could be spiked up and could result in a massive injury or massive accidents. So that he emphasizes the proper use of machineries to the people, so that they know how to use the equipment or machineries before they started doing the job. And then the experience that he faces is that he faces the monthly service quality and HSA audit a lot of time or ton of times during his time as Petronas Carigali Semarang. But whenever an HSC audit comes, he said that they would check a detail about anything of information of anything that he conducted, that any program, any practices that he ensure, that any procedure that the workers need to follow. They check all of that. But sometimes few of the HSC would come up with something that they think that it is wrong, or something that it is not sufficient. And then whenever they say like that, he would first then ask them, so what should I do to make it sufficient? And then he will give up his own opinion if it's sufficient to cover up this issue. And then during his time, he managed 10 officer, which is quite hard for a graduate to manage 10 officers. And then he covered onshore fabrication and offshore installation, where he experiences the going through or usage of the chopper and vessel in that place. And then he reported that during his first time, why he remembered this experience is because the first accident ever occurred in his whole career was here, where a finger injury. The finger injury was a first aid case, where it occurs in the kitchen, where the chef mistakenly cut his hands. Uh, Even though it is first aid case, he said that he treated it seriously, where he carried out proper investigation, proper uh, report, but uh, and others. But he said that this thing had set up or give him an experience of what to do whenever an accident occur. Even though it is still a minor incident, but it set up a platform for him. Whenever a major accident occur, he know what to do or how to act. And then violation. Based on my safety officer, he said that he never encountered violation. And then he said that if he stated about the violation is that it couldn't be done because if there are any violation that he had encountered throughout his whole career, it cannot be tell because it is the company secrets between him and his company. So it is highly confidential. So let's move on to last part, which is challenges. The challenges is that you say that the challenges that the HSC officers or the HSC officer or any other or graduates that would face throughout his whole career or throughout their whole career in upcoming years. First of all, continuous learning. He said that the HSC officer need to be continuously learning, not stop learning, because HSC things is something that every day evolving, every day new machinery coming out, every day new equipments coming out, every day new things are coming out. Then they need to enforce a new safety practices and procedures to cope with this. And then he said that continuous learning is not only limited to the HSC field only. It is also broadened by the usage of equipments, usage of machineries. He said like that because when you are a safety officer, when you know how the machine function or how the equipment function, you will then can do a proper paperwork or proper procedures and practices to be followed by the workers to avoid any other uh, incidents. And then the next thing is the digitalization of HSE. He said that as we know, we are now in the IR 4.0, which is Industrial Revolution 4.0, where the digitalization is taking over. So that we need to be prepared to digitalize HSE, where we need to key in the big data analysis of big data and report analysis big data using digital equipments. And then the challenges that he said that is to get management buy in your idea. He said that to persuade management buying in your idea is something quite hard because you need to persuade them in a professional manner with a good soft skill by elaborating or presenting them the importance and why this practice would work in a professional manners or professional ways so that they could understand wow what is this importance, oh this is like that, so that when we do this, or we can reduce the amount of incident, reduce the amount of percentage of incidents or any other of that. And then building good HSC culture. Building a good HSC culture is quite hard, he said, because you need to build a good HSC culture, because you need to build a good HSC culture uh, among the workers, because HSC could not work alone. You need to work together with the workers and employers, so that building a good HSC culture is quite a challenge. But when you come to a place where the culture of HSC quite strong, it's not a problem at all. And then the challenges are to educating the management and workers. Educating management and workers about safety is quite hard and need to be tried hard, because educating people about safety is something that they don't want to listen, because they think that they know more. They think that this can be ignored and neglected. So educating a management and workers is quite a challenge, and you need to face it when you are there. And then the last thing is to inculcate the HSC culture. We all know that inoculating vaccines and any other that, but we need to inculcate the HSC culture throughout to our blood, to the importance of the HSC culture. Why I say it like that? When he said that when we were young or we were kid, our parents used to say that whenever you are need to cross the road, make sure you look the both ways. There's safety, but whenever you grow old, you ignore the safety precaution or procedures that practice that you need to follow. So, inculcating HSC culture to ourselves or to others is quite a challenge, and that's my findings throughout my interview with the HSC. Okay, thank you.